Yo, 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 what's up, Eagles Nation, Sports Nation? It's your boy, Cool Eagle, back here with another video. Just want to come talk to you guys because, whoa, do we have a lot to talk about today in the world of NFL football? Hope you guys are doing well out there. If you're in Texas, it's probably a little cold where you are. So make sure you get in, warm up, man. Like, don't be out there too long if you don't have to. And remember, like, subscribe, get this content out there because I love doing this with you guys. But let's get to it, right? So, I never thought I'd be doing this. I never thought that I would have to make a video with the caption of giving Dak anything that's positive. But after what Dak did, after how Dak played against the Seattle Seahawks, um, now the narrative is that the Cowboys have not beaten a good team over 500 or at 500, but they pulled it off a Thursday night football. I had on a Seattle Seahawks to give these guys bad mojo, but that was very unsuccessful. Um, Now, I thought I had something in the fourth quarter because the Seahawks had a 5 point lead on these guys, 35-30 going into the fourth quarter. And I'm thinking to myself, cool, this game is going to be, over. All they got to do is kick a field goal or score, and we're good. But Myers, the kicker that I have on my fantasy, he missed a 42-yarder in the first half. It would have been 38-30 going to the fourth quarter, but that happened. And then there were just a lot of miscues on the Seattle offense. I don't know what Shane Waldron was thinking, leaving Demarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons unblocked. Um, why weren't there any adjustments when clearly the linemen were getting overwhelmed? Gino just did not have any time whatsoever, despite what y'all may have seen the offensive onslaught they gave. Two touchdown DK Metcalf, a really good performance by the rookie. Seattle gave the Cowboys all they could ask for with the run game. That kid Charbonnet, man, I think if he never would have got hurt and Seattle would have just emphasized the run more in the fourth quarter, they they definitely could have beat Dallas because Dallas is very susceptible to the run, as we've known last year. They're not very good against the run. Uh, and I'm kind of just a little surprised that Shane Waldron abandoned the run strategy so early, so late into the game when you're knowing Dallas is just moving up and down the field. And speaking of that, man, like again, Dak Prescott deserves his flowers. The man threw like three touchdowns, no interceptions. Right now, I believe he's at like 28 total touchdowns and six total turnovers. Very MVP worthy. But we know that Jalen Hurts is still the favorite at MVP at plus 140, as he should. Now, the debate that I've been hearing about today on sports media, undisputed, first things first, is that Dak Prescott should be the league favorite. And to me, I'm just thinking to myself, okay, yes, Dak Prescott is having an amazing year. His stats look amazing: 28 touchdowns, six turnovers. The man is into December and he's holding on to his promise of not throwing 10 interceptions. Like he's currently at six right now. So the man is willing and dealing, and the fact that he's having a baby, like maybe this is giving him some new light. A lot of Cowboys fans are feeling really good about this Cowboys team and what they seen last night. And as they should. I mean, if your quarterback is going to play like this, and you got an almost 1,200-yard receiver, you got the potential defensive player on the year in Deron Bland, who looked like he was getting cooked last night. Because the first half he gave up five receptions for 137 yards and a touchdown. Second half, right? It looks like somebody in his position would just start losing confidence. The man gets a really good interception off a ball that was thrown to Tyler Lockett. And speaking of Tyler Lockett, do y'all agree that the game for the Seahawks was over when Tyler Lockett dropped that easy pass in the fourth quarter? Because that's what a lot of Seahawks and Cowboys fans, Seahawks fans are saying is that game really changed momentum. like just because when you have an easy catch like that and you're in scoring position, you could potentially go up on Dallas like 40 or 42 to 30 with like 8 or 9 minutes left in the game, and you just missed that opportunity. Because now what Dallas did, they just marched down the field, uh, mixing up the run, the pass. Dak Prescott doing exactly what it did to the Eagles secondary. So again, like Dak is doing this against good defenses. Now, I will say this. And I will pose this question to y'all. Can we really take this win over the Seahawks, this Dallas win over the Seahawks, that much serious? Because we know what the Seahawks represent, right? Pete Carroll, somewhat of a savant on the defensive side of the ball, not much offensive. Um, I mean, Seattle is a very good defense. They get after the quarterback. That kid Devin Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen. They got Jamal Adams who can play safety up top and the box. You got Wagner having another All-Pro season. Definitely going to break a record because the most that I know for how many All-Pros a linebacker has is like 7 or 8. It's like 7. So if Bobby Wagner ends up, making the All-Pro team this year, this would be his 8th one. Bonafide Hall of Famer, if you ask me, but I'm not a Hall of Fame voter. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Now as far as what Pete Carroll is, like, he's a very good defensive coordinator. So Dallas went up against like a very good defense in the Seattle Seahawks. When you think about their defensive line with Jaron Reed, you got Bobby Wagner, an All-Pro in the linebacker spot. You got Jamal Adams in the safety. You got 2 good corners who, for the most part, were playing all right, considering the like level of competition they were going up against. And CeeDee Lamb, who's having a really good year. Brandon Cooks, who looks like he's having a resurgence now that he's getting more comfortable in this Dallas offense. If he gets another 1,000-yard season, like, that'll be a record, because I think this will be the 4th or 5th team that he has a 1,000-yard plus season with, right? Because he's already at the touchdown threshold. He has like 5 touchdowns already. So when you really think about what Dallas went up against, you got to give Dak his credit. You got to give Dak his flowers. Now, as far as MVP, that's still Jalen Hurts' to win right now. Just because Dak has only done this one time. And then the fact that you allowed Seattle to score 35 at home. You know what I'm saying? And we can talk about this too, because although Dallas has beaten their first team at 500 and above, you know what I'm saying, they still give up a lot of points against winning teams. The only thing is they actually closed the deal this time, because we know what happened with San Francisco. We don't have to talk about that anymore, right? But as far as the MVP, Jalen still has the most comebacks so far this season. He has the most touchdowns. Okay, yes, you can talk about his turnovers, but a lot of those turnovers were already when the game was still in the beginning, or when the Eagles had a lead, and the offensive coordinator Brian Johnson, who's still trying to figure things out, he's just trying shit all over the field. So Jalen, I mean, we've seen multiple examples of Jalen just throwing the ball in the air because he's trying to make a play when he really doesn't need to, and it ends up in an interception. And then, like, a lot of these interceptions are tip balls. So we also have to take that into consideration as well, if the turnover argument is what is going to separate Jalen Hurts from Dak Prescott in regards to this MVP discussion, right? So a kudos to the Dallas Cowboys, what they did. Dak Prescott, he definitely extended the conversation for him for MVP. If you ask me right now who my MVPs are right now, I'm pretty much in agreement with Fox Sports on this one. Let me show you what they have, and I'll show you what my list pretty much is, right? Hold on. And remember, like, subscribe, guys. Get this content out there. Love doing this with you guys. I think this is This is it. No, this is it. This is it. This is it. All right. Right. So take a look at this. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in on this. Right. Good. All right. So right now, the MVP favorites that Fox Sports has, and what I have are pretty similar. I have Jalen Hurts obviously as the MVP, and this is not biased because I have all this Eagles shit in the background. He's just been the best quarterback in the league thus far, right? Like no matter what y'all think about his first half performances, he still manages to be the reason why this team wins. Because the MVP award is not about who's the most talented or some war on who has the best stats. No, this is about the most valuable player on a team. If you put anybody else on the Eagles team, you know, under the circumstances that Jalen has to be in, Elias quarterbacks will fold. Elias quarterbacks will fold. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people talk about the lucky wins we have, right? Now, how is it lucky, right, if the teams have a 10-point lead in consecutive games and don't close the deal? Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes throws the ball. Valdez Scantling drops it. Everybody says that's the defining moment of the game without realizing that even if Valdez Scantling catches that ball, there's still a minute 30 left in the clock. And we've all seen what Jalen Hurts can do with just a little time, right? Because if Valdez Scantling catches that ball, we're talking about 24-21 with a minute 30 left. Who knows what can happen, right? But people will always make up the narrative like just because they don't like the Eagles. They don't like a move that's been done since Carson Wentz was here. We did 38 QB sneaks with Carson Wentz and converted on 36 of them. So Jalen Hurts is not the first person to do the tush push or the brotherly shove. This has been going on. But moving on, Fox Sports and I are in agreement with the MVP choices. I got Jalen Hurts number one. Lamar Jackson definitely number two. He's the quarterback of the number one team in the AFC. Can't take that away from them. They're just a little bit above the Chiefs, but if you look at it, he and Patrick Mahomes are both plus 400. So what the odds makers are saying that even though Baltimore has the best team in the AFC, you still have to give a nod to Patrick Mahomes just because he's the Super Bowl MVP, the most recent Super Bowl MVP, and he's Patrick Mahomes. You know, like certain players just get certain clout like that. And of course, you got Dak Prescott right here, and rightfully so. Dak Prescott is having a really good year, albeit against bad teams. But when you think about how the Eagles got to the Super Bowl last year, we were pretty much beating up on bad teams. We blow them out 24-0. Jalen Hurts should probably sit for the second half, and that was a continued theme all the way up to the Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys are doing that this year, and they have the case to if they were to go to the Super Bowl, conversations are changing. But we know Dallas is known for beating up on bad teams for years and not doing anything with it. So fourth place, Dak Prescott. I'm fine with that. Maybe it'll tilt once Dallas comes to Arlington and plays the Eagles if they happen to win, which I don't see it happening. But that would definitely shoot Dak Prescott to that number one, number two spot because the Ravens schedule is tough. The Chiefs have a tough schedule. They actually play the Bills, I believe, this coming Sunday, right? Against a middling on the edge Buffalo Bills team. That's going to be a good game. I would definitely watch out for that. Lamar Jackson, I forget who they're playing, but they have a schedule ahead of them. Actually, I believe they're on their bye this week, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody let me know who they're playing in the comments. Like I just can't think of it right now. The Cowboys, they get rest because they played on Thursday. So a lot of MVP discussions could be altered this week because you got Brock Purdy here at number 6, right below Tua Tagovailoa, which is understandable because Tua is having a better year than Brock Purdy. But if Brock Purdy happens to outplay Jalen Hurts in the upcoming game against the 49ers, that can move Brock Purdy up a lot of spots. He could jump a lot of spots if he outplays Jalen, and the 49ers beat the Eagles on Sunday, which again I don't see happening. And if Patrick Mahomes beats the Bills, I don't believe. Well, actually, you know what? If he beats the Packers on Sunday, which I believe he will, but you never know. The Chiefs' offense is struggling, being carried by the defense. So we can only see the Packers are playing really good football. They're coming off a win against the Detroit Lions. So that's a game to not be slept on. It's like all of these games in the last few weeks that are more critical than anything. Because Chiefs and Packers in like week 5, nobody cares about it. Packers and Chiefs in week 12, 13, oh, it's something serious. Because now you're talking about MVP conversations, conference standings, because the Chiefs are still fighting for the number 1 seed. Like they're still fighting for that number 1 seed. So don't get it twisted. Here is the current playoff picture. Let me go to this other screen. And again, like, subscribe, guys. Again, love doing this with y'all. So, all right. Let's see. So here is the NFL playoff picture currently. Again, let me just zoom in on it. I should just set the default percentage at 150%. All right. Oh, that's too close. Too close. Too close. Too close. Okay, this is good enough, right? Okay. So looking at this, if the NFL playoffs were to start today, and this is the most recent one, because it was updated like a day ago from the most recent game, right? If the playoffs were to start today, obviously the Eagles would have the first round bye because they have the best record. Whether you want to hate on us or not, but then you have Dallas playing like a sacrificial NFC South team. They're clearly going to win that, right? And you got Detroit, Minnesota. That could go down to the wire because that's a division game. And you got Seattle and San Francisco. That could go down to the wire just because it's also a division game. But if you look over here, right, you notice that the Chiefs don't have a number 1 seed. So they have to win this week. They have to win this week. Because right now, the Ravens are on a bye this week. So we're not going to see the Ravens play. But if the Chiefs were to squeak out a win versus the Indianapolis Colts, that won't necessarily move them up just because Baltimore still has to play. And if they lose, then the Chiefs will move up a spot. But if the Chiefs were to win this, that will put more pressure on Baltimore. The Dolphins, who are they playing? Let me see. The Dolphins. They're playing the Commanders. I believe they can win that game. Now, will this move them up any further? No, it will not. No, it will not because Jacksonville still has to lose, and they play the Bengals on Monday. So if Joe Burrow was still healthy and playing, obviously this would be a different conversation because now you're talking about a really good game between the Jaguars and the Bengals. But since they don't, they have some no-name quarterback. If the Dolphins were to win on Sunday and the Jags were to win on Sunday, the standings would still just remain the same, but that would still put pressure on Baltimore because now you have three 9-3 teams, and that will put a lot of pressure on Baltimore, right? So there are a lot of uh, playoff scenarios right now. And again, let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comments, right? So looking at San Francisco on the NFC side, if we beat them, we're 11-1. They're 8-4, but their standings don't change. But Detroit, um, I don't know who they play on Sunday, but if Detroit wins on Sunday and the 49ers lose, that would move Detroit to the number 2 seed, and that would drop San Francisco down to the 3 seed. Well, actually, that would drop San Fran down to the 3 seed because they have the tiebreaker over Dallas. So a lot of playoff scenarios. But if the San Francisco 49ers happen to win, they would still keep the number 2 seed because again, they have a tiebreaker over Dallas. So all in all, like the Eagles playoff picture looks really good. The Eagles could potentially lose this game, like against the 49ers, and still not be affected. It's because they have a 2.5 game lead, and them losing would drop their lead down to 1.5 games. But they would have to win at Dallas, just because if you drop one to Dallas, and you put yourself at 10-3, I mean, you would still have the number 1 seed because you already beat them. You're a half game ahead of them, but that will put more pressure on you to win your remaining games. You know, but hopefully the Eagles can at least go 1-1 in these next 2 games because that would still keep us a game and a half in this tight race, or what seems to be a tight race in the NFC. So, but speaking of the Eagles and San Francisco, I think it's so crazy. I think it's so crazy how the Eagles are a field goal underdog at Lincoln Financial. How do y'all feel about that? Let me know what y'all think in the comments because this is unprecedented territory we're walking into, right? You have the Philadelphia Eagles being 3-point dogs at home, something that we have not seen since 1970. And I'm giving y'all an article to back up this point. I just don't like to say things and not have any context behind it, right? So, yeah. So, looking at this article here for CBS, the Eagles are set to be the first 10-1 or better team with a healthy starting quarterback, but healthy is probably a little overstated because he's not, like with the knee contusion and all that. But outside of that, a pretty healthy guy to be a home underdog since 1970. They had just passed a civil rights bill around that time. You know what I'm saying? And that was the last time a team that was at home that was this successful. And there probably weren't a lot of them. Again, there's context to everything. And if you have context on it, put it in the comments. But to be 10-1 as an underdog, it's just crazy because the Philadelphia Eagles are routinely good at home, like most good teams. Dallas is really good at home. If this was Dallas and San Francisco, Dallas was a favorite in that game because they were at home. Dallas scores the most points at home than any team in the NFL. Even though they've taken some L's at home, especially in the playoffs, but we won't get into that. You know, to be 10-1 and you're an underdog, like it's disrespectful. And I'm glad pundits like Nick Wright came out and talked about that. Because for the Eagles to be 10-1 dogs at home, it's almost like you're saying the Niners are a better team than the Eagles. And we can have that debate because as far as how the Niners have been playing these past couple weeks, coming off a 3-game losing streak, they were questioning whether Brock Purdy was the guy or not, whether to bench him and bring in Sam Darnold to the starting lineup. It's crazy. Like the San Francisco 49ers are playing good football. And if you were to ask anybody, the top 3 teams in this league are Philadelphia, Kansas City, and San Francisco. And again, this is just top 3, y'all. Dallas is definitely that number 4. You know what I'm saying? So, but if this was Kansas City and San Francisco, Kansas City would be favored at home. If this was Detroit and San Francisco, Detroit would be a favorite at home. If this was San Francisco playing in San Francisco, they'd be the favorite. But the media is getting off rage reporting to get the reactions out of Philadelphia Eagles fans. Because you have me reacting to it now, right? So it's not to say that this is a dishonest attempt to get the fan base riled up, because why else would you put the Philadelphia Eagles, a 10-1 Philadelphia Eagles, the best team in the NFL with the best quarterback, with one of the best offenses in the NFL, you have us as a 3-point dog. There's no other reason. Now, if you're telling me that the defense is good enough to where Jalen can't make a second half comeback, and you're banking on that, I mean, that's a little dumb because you haven't seen it happen yet. You've seen Jalen Hurts beat the San Francisco 49ers in one of the biggest games of the year. I know it was last year, but this is not revisionist history. That actually happened. That actually happened. So for the 49ers to be favorites in this game, it's just ridiculous. And it adds motivation because what I know the 49ers are going to do is that the 49ers are going to attempt to, they're going to do what they always do. They set up their offense through the run to set up the pass. But the Eagles have the favorable matchup being that we're the number 1 team in run defense. And we played some really good ball clubs that can run the ball. We played Dallas, right? Kansas City, right? We played Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? So we're pretty stout against the run. Now the pass, obviously we're 20th in that. We're like 30th on third down on pass plays. So this Eagles defense can be had. But I think with the disrespect in the media, what the San Francisco 49ers mean as a rivalry to the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe the Eagles are going to show up for this game. Brock Purdy is going to be running for his life, barring any miraculous adjustments that Kyle Shanahan can do to keep Jalen Carter, Hassan Reddick, and those boys out the backfield. I think the Eagles can run away with this game. Not like blowing anybody out, because we haven't seen proof that the Eagles can blow anybody out. So I think that this is going to be a close affair. I think this game is going to be like, if you ask me, I say 34-28. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be a close game, but like I don't see us beating them by no more than 10 points. If we do beat them by more than 10 points, that's a good day for your boy, right? Because I'm betting on the over. But let me know what y'all think in the comments about that. Again, like, subscribe, get this content out there. Love doing this with you guys. We got more content on the way for show. And leave some thoughts in your love, man. And we're gonna get out of here. Again, hey man, y'all stay jiggy, y'all stay safe out there. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.